In a deeply concerning incident, Private Second-Class King found himself wrongfully detained in North Korea. Confronting the specter of potential future punishments due to alleged criminal activity in South Korea. As the situation unfolds, the challenges faced by the United States in securing his release and engaging in diplomatic dialogue with North Korea have come to the fore. And North Korea have long been restricted, posing a significant hurdle to resolving issues of this nature: the communication channels between the U.S. Despite efforts to foster diplomatic engagement, the response from Pyongyang has been unyielding, maintaining a resolute silence even amidst escalations in their nuclear and missile programs. President Biden's offer to engage in diplomatic talks with North Korea on day one of his tenure remains unaccepted, despite persistent endeavors to facilitate communication. Acknowledging receipt of a message pertaining to King's detention, North Korea has refrained from any further dialogue. The ambiguity surrounding this silence fuels anxiety among the parties involved and adds complexity to the already tense situation. With lines of communication largely dormant, the potential for misinterpretation or unintended provocations looms large. The underlying challenge in resolving this crisis lies in the hostile relations that currently grip the Korean peninsula. With military maneuvers being conducted in coordination with South Korea and Japan, North Korea's animosity has escalated. As Governor Richardson noted, the country appears increasingly uncooperative, resenting being overshadowed by global attention on the Russia-Ukraine conflict and retaliating with an array of missile tests. In the quest for a resolution, the hope is to approach the matter as a humanitarian issue, transcending the political acrimony. With an intent to avoid propagandistic manipulation by North Korea during this delicate time, efforts are underway to have the young private's plight addressed solely on humanitarian grounds. He is being presumed as a troubled individual, unlikely to be a defector, but rather one who requires military discipline before eventual deportation. With communication channels stalled, the possibility of a military-to-military engagement emerges as a potential avenue for resolution. Previous experiences, as recalled by Andrea, indicate the feasibility of low-level dialogues between the militaries of involved nations. It is this avenue that may facilitate a direct line of communication, bypassing the political impasse. However, as the situation in North Korea unfolds, another distressing reality comes to light. Beyond the borders of the Hermit Kingdom, other Americans languish in wrongful detention. Notably, Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and former Marine Paul Whelan suffer a similar fate, held captive in Russia. The two cases are closely linked, raising the possibility of a prisoner exchange as a means to secure their freedom. In advocating for the release of these wrongfully detained Americans, Governor Richardson underscores the need for a quid pro quo resolution, involving both cases. Such a proposition, however, hinges on the willingness of Russia to engage in cooperation. Remain fraught with tension, securing their compliance becomes a formidable task, as current relations between Russia and the U.S. Ultimately, the issue calls for a delicate and balanced approach, navigating through political complexities, military tensions, and the intrinsic humanitarian concerns involved. The urgency of resolving these cases is undeniable, and the fate of those wrongfully detained hangs precariously in the balance. In conclusion, the wrongful detention of Private Second-Class King, as well as other Americans in foreign lands, presents a multifaceted challenge for the United States. Limited communication channels with North Korea and the overarching hostile relations in the Korean Peninsula intensify the complexity of securing their release. Despite the challenges, efforts to treat the situation as a humanitarian matter and foster military-to-military dialogues offer potential avenues for resolution. Simultaneously, the parallel situation in Russia, with Americans Evan Gershkovich and Paul Whelan being detained, demands a nuanced approach to engage Russia in potential prisoner exchanges. Time remains of the essence as the fate of these wrongfully detained citizens hangs in the balance.